For this project, you will need some red candy melts, white chocolate chips, jumbo marshmallows, lollipop sticks, and some donut holes. I just got whatever ones they had at the grocery store. They have smaller ones. The bigger ones are better though if you find the bigger donut holes. Okay, so the first step is to take a cookie sheet and line it with wax paper. After you've done that, go ahead and pour all of your candy melts into a saucepan if you're going to heat them up on the stovetop. If not, you can microwave this, so you just want to go ahead and start melting the red candy melts. So while the candy melts are melting, take your donut holes and slice them in half. Okay, so next, when your candy melt, everything is melted, go ahead and drop your donut half in and coat it. It doesn't need to be very thick on the bottom. So then I just take it and I'm trying to get the excess of it off, but as best as you can. And then slide it onto your wax paper. It's okay if they're a little messy, you'll be able to, it's not going to stay on the actual donut part afterwards. So that is what I'm doing. And try to not have it very thick on the bottom specifically, because we're going to glue that to the marshmallow with chocolate. Alright, so what you want to make sure you do is don't let the candy melt completely harden. I made the mistake of doing that on a few of these, and then when I tried to put like this one here, the white chips in them, the shell was too hard to stick them in, so I'm going to have to redip that. So before they are all the way hard, start press down the white chips. And that is what you want to do. I think it looks good if you can do at least 5. And if it makes, a little bit of a mess, it's okay. You can always clean it up after it's set. So that's what you want to do, but make sure you put them in before it hardens up. Okay, so it's the next day. They are all dry and they have the shell is hard on them. And yeah, I mean, I was gonna say it's a fail, but they look all right. Some of them are a little bit, they're a little busted looking, but I think it's because I was doing it at 2 in the morning and I just was exhausted. But and so some of them do have, I got a little bit of the red on the white chips, but they taste really good, so I'm gonna still put them on there. There's some, other ones that don't look so bad, this one I got barely. It's right here. Yeah, so, in these areas where the red kind of spilled out, you can just break it off or leave it and whatever. So, you get the idea for that part. Definitely the timing when you put the white chips on is important, because I can tell the ones that I first tried to do, like this one I got too late, obviously, so it kind of cracked because it was already starting to get a shell before I could, and I just jammed 3 in there. So that's gonna go in the back of the basket, but it's still edible and, whatever, it tastes good. And then this one just has 1, so it doesn't really look like a mushroom anyway. So yeah, you can see which ones were my beginner ones, and then a lot of these ones over here turned out pretty good. I'm gonna have to break these 2 apart because they're one united mushroom, so we're gonna break those apart. Hi. So we're gonna break this apart. What I'm doing now is I have the leftover candy melt. I'm heating it up, and then I'm going to glue these on to the marshmallows. So to display the toadstools, I have these 2 baskets, and what I'm going to do is I got a package with just this styrofoam stuff, and I'm gonna cut it to fit inside of the basket. You could use, if you have like the floral, I don't know what it's called, the floral stuff, the floral styrofoam, that would work too, but this just came with a package we ordered and it works perfectly. I'll be able to, there we go, it's hard to do with one hand. So I'll be able to stick the toadstools in the foam. I'm gonna stick them in the foam and then, you know, have that in the basket and cover it up with moss so it looks like a little toadstool harvest. Okay, so what I've done now is I took the baskets and I cut out the styrofoam to fit inside the basket, and then I covered it with some Spanish moss. And then I'm taking the lollipop sticks and poking them into the foam. And after you do that, you'll take a marshmallow and put it down on the lollipop. And once the toadstools or the donut is fully dry, we'll go ahead and you can put a little bit of chocolate here and glue the two pieces together. Here are the baskets with marshmallows. I can't remember if I showed you guys this or not. So I have them all ready for the tops while the candy melt's heating up. I tested putting one on there and it looks really cute. So that's what that looks like. And once the chocolate's done, we will glue the tops onto the marshmallows. Alright, so what I am doing is I took the cap of the mushroom and I put a little bit of the candy melt on. Let's see how I can do this with one hand. When you put them on the sticks, make sure that the marshmallow is pretty high up. You don't want too much of the stick to be poking up, because then when you press this down, if it goes too high through the cap, it'll break the donut. So there, I just pressed it down. A little mushroom. One of the ones over here, it broke because I pushed it too far down, and so I put a dollop. It's in the middle, so I'm trying to hide that one. It's kind of ugly, but it's okay. So you get the idea. I'm just putting them in, and I think they're pretty cute. Okay, so a tip though for you guys that might help with not having any cracking or anything. I noticed that because the donuts I had, some of them were powdered and some of them were glazed, and then some had cinnamon sugar. They didn't have plain ones. It would be a lot easier if you get the plain donuts, and then I think the candy melt will adhere a lot better. But I just used the variety and coated them anyway, and they still turned out pretty cute. But yeah, get plain donuts, it'll be a lot better. So here's what they look like. This basket has a lot of my ugly ones. They didn't turn out quite as nice as I would have liked them to, but I think I wasn't paying enough attention to some of them, and now I know what to do differently. So make sure you press the chips in before it's fully set, and then you can avoid, dealing with the cracking. But they still turned out pretty cute, and they taste good, so we're gonna serve them anyway. And yeah, so you can see a little basket of mushrooms. This would make for a good, you could wrap these up and do them as party favors. That'd be fun. I'm just gonna put them on our dessert table for people to grab. So that is how you make little toadstool pops.